Tonight, Cowra residents left in the dark as a truck ploughs into the town's power supply. And more disturbing evidence of Port Augusta's antisocial behaviour problem.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. Cowra residents woke with a bang this morning as a road train hurtled off the Lincoln Highway and crashed onto its side. With multiple power lines run down, it's left the whole town without electricity.
It's lights out for the people of Cowra. Just before 5:30 a.m, police were called to the Lincoln Highway after a road train lost control in the township, crashed and rolled onto its side. Remarkably, the driver was uninjured. Before coming to a rest, the truck took out at least 4 power poles along the intersection, causing the town to lose power. Locals say with the amount of freight that passes through the town, the sharp turn was an accident waiting to happen.
Well, they should realign the road. That's all that should be done. Move it.
SA Power Networks are at the site, saying the crash has caused significant damage to underground power lines, advising the community that power may not be restored until late tomorrow. Despite the power outage, local residents were counting their lucky stars this morning, with the truck coming off the road into a small clearing, narrowly avoiding retirement accommodation, a church and a school.
Lucky it didn't drive into that village there. They're lucky people there. They got an early wake-up call, but they'll be celebrating with champagne tonight maybe. But we're missing out on Snitsy at the pub tonight because there's not going to be power for it.
Police say the truck driver, a 29-year-old man from Wailanori, was taken to hospital to be medically assessed and have a routine blood test. Edwin McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A 31-year-old man has been charged with dangerous driving causing death after yesterday's horror crash at Allford. The arrest comes after a 74-year-old Kadina man died after 2 utes collided along Buse Road. The surviving driver, a Willamolka man, was initially taken to Wallaroo Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, but he was later released and arrested. He's been bailed to appear at the Kadina Magistrates Court on May 15. Port Augusta's antisocial behaviour crisis has left the community exasperated and fed up. It comes as footage of another massive brawl was surfaced online. And a warning, this vision may be disturbing for some viewers.
Disturbing scenes on a Port Augusta street, this time near Spencer Junction on Daniel Terrace. The video believed to have been recorded on the weekend. It's another prime example of the antisocial behaviour running rife in Port Augusta. Mayor Lindley Shine says this behaviour is absolutely unacceptable. This message has been relayed to the appropriate departments on numerous occasions, along with the message that we will work in a collaborative way with whoever we need to in support of their efforts to get on top of this situation. Opposition leader David Spears scathing in his assessment.
We need the state government to step up and get this sorted. Windows are broken in this town. There's graffiti. People don't feel safe in this town.
The situation in Port Augusta has led to calls for the old City Safe program to be reintroduced, which costs less than the current outreach program backed by member for Stewart Jeff Brock. The City Safe program also helped rein in antisocial behaviour for years. The opposition leader agrees.
Like most of the things that poor old Jeff does, it hasn't worked. He stumbles and he bumbles in his hopeless, friendly way. He's a great guy. Everyone likes Jeff. But it's one thing to be a great guy and a nice guy. It's another to be an effective leader in a community.
Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
After receiving a $500,000 boost, Quorn's Performing and Visual Arts Precinct is looking better than ever. Annabelle Francis checked in on the progress.
All the more space for creative endeavours in Quorn. The new Arts Precinct getting ready to open on March 18.
Great to be able to provide a very safe space, an accessible space for all the public to come and enjoy. It offers that experience for people with music, arts, visual arts, and in fact our first opening and major event will be the Fringe.
That's right, the Fringe is coming to the Flinders, giving small towns the opportunity to experience the same thrills Adelaide does.
It's so important for bringing people together, allowing people to express themselves, and more opportunities for encouraging local artists and local activities as well, and learning from bringing in outside entertainment as well.
Jointly funded by the federal government and the Music Development Office, the Precinct is part of a bigger picture to refresh the town and create more community spaces while maintaining the town's unique heritage.
Council also supported businesses and residences on the main streets of the towns for a facade or upgrade, so they went 50-50 with painting, so we've seen a lot of improvements.
No more travelling to the capital for Mad March.
We've got some free events on. The Fringe is free in the Flinders, so that works out very well for Corn and Hawker, and also for the residents and visitors.
See you on the 18th. Annabella Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. From the big cities to the small towns, Port Pirie records a population boost. And Port Lincoln schools learning the importance of road safety. Welcome back. Regional towns in Australia are feeling the squeeze as urban dwellers continue to move to the country. And according to the December quarter of Regional Movers Index, Port Pirie is among the highest growth areas.
The country lifestyle is catching on as the cost of living increases. Port Pirie experiencing the change firsthand, with a growth of 200% in 2022.
The squeeze is really good in our respect because, I mean, we've been singing the praises of Port Pirie in the region and livability for so long, and it's now proof, isn't it?
Data from the Regional Movers Index confirming more and more people are moving away from metro areas. And there's a few reasons why.
The average mean prices of homes are around $205,000. You know, you can get on a bicycle or walk to just about anywhere in the town.
The Mayor also credits the city's close proximity to the Southern Flinders Ranges, wineries and beaches, as well as the hard-working locals.
We're going to lay credit to community projects that are actually looking good with it, but we'll see those mature in, say, 4 years' time. We'll have everything in place.
And of course, the hot topic of cost of living.
Say, for example, having a house in Melbourne, if you sold up the house, you'd probably get 800,000 or 900,000. You come and buy a house here for 250,000, 300,000, got cash in the bank. So lifestyle commitment, I think that's what we've been saying all along.
Annabella Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
As South Australian students look forward to getting their driver's licence, the Road Awareness Program is travelling to Spencer Golf schools, teaching the next generation about road trauma and how to avoid it.
Better known as RAP, the program is aimed towards Year 11 students.
Because they're coming to getting their licences, and it's probably the best time to get them. That way they start making good decisions when they get on the road.
Using real footage of crashes, reenactments of road accidents and involving the audience, the road safety message is loud and clear, cemented as Michael Holbrook took to the stage.
Back in 2009, we lost our son in a car crash when he was a passenger in a vehicle where the driver lost control. It's such a needless, preventable loss of life, and it became a source of great frustration for us.
In the early days, Michael found sharing his story emotionally taxing and almost quit. But he kept going.
It became clear to me after a while that what I was thinking about myself, the way I was feeling too much, and I wasn't thinking about the much bigger picture.
The South Australian Metropolitan Fire Service says the program is making a difference.
We do a lot of schools and we get a lot of positive feedback, and we like to think it's making a difference, and hopefully the road statistics show that.
By the looks in their faces and some of the feedback that we read afterwards, I can only say yes.
Amid the current road toll, here's a piece of advice.
If you're on the road, be a responsible road user and have 100% concentration on the road.
Alison Hall, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, our chat with Peter Teakle's chief winemaker. And everything's going swimmingly at Port Augusta's revamped pool. Welcome back. In a male-dominated field, Liz Heidenreich is going against the grain. This International Women's Day, Alison Hall spoke with the chief winemaker, telling us about her career and how she's helped grow the Peter Teakle Wines brand.
After working as a nurse for 15 years, Liz went back to her roots.
We've got family in the Barossa Valley. My grandfather planted vineyards in 1936, and we as kids used to go on grape pick and get really involved in it.
Last year, women made up about 38% of leadership positions in the Australian wine industry.
It's certainly changing. When I was at uni, there was 4 females out of probably 35, maybe 38 students. But now it's much more. There's a lot of women getting into it. You know, there's no reason women can't do exactly the same job as men.
In 2019, Liz and her husband began working with Peter Teakle to develop his winery. Together, they designed the processing facility and prepared the equipment.
And he'd bought it. There was no winery, no processing facility, but he had a vineyard and had a vision and a passion and a dream.
Liz recommends winemaking to anyone interested.
I've worked in lots of places all over the world. I've done lots of, I did 4 vintages in Portugal and worked in China, and then I've done a lot of trade in Europe and the UK, so it's a great opportunity to travel. I think it's a terrific career.
Next up for Liz is this year's vintage, with harvesting starting next week. Alison Hall, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Port Augusta's Ryan Mitchell Pool is officially open, with hordes of locals pouring into the revamped facility.
A new place to cool off during those hot Port Augusta days. The fully renovated Ryan Mitchell Pool officially reopened with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. In attendance were the lines of Mayor Lindley Shine and Member for Stewart Jeff Brock, as well as other city councillors.
It's home to the Port Augusta Swimming Club and provides numerous activity including school learn to swim programs, a space for swimming carnivals, swimming lessons for our young children, and of course aqua aerobics classes, which I hear Councillors Brown and Marsh have recently enrolled in, so thank you for that.
No doubt whatsoever that this is going to be very, very popular with your youth and your older people and these 2 councillors over here. So I'm going to make certain I see you 2 councillors when I come up here next time.
I'm for anything that's going to excite the public into some activity and enjoyment and pride in Port Augusta.
The brand new pumping room was open to view, showing the newest technology that keeps the pools running. Over 4,000 people have now visited the Ryan Mitchell Pool, proving it's one of the most popular places in Port Augusta. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. After the break, we take a look at the average price of petrol across the region, as well as a trip down memory lane. And showers around the Spencer Gulf. We'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Gulf Nightly News this Wednesday. It's not the best time to be filling up unleaded cars at the moment, with all bar one of our major centres seeing hikes at the Bowser. Here's this week's Fuel Watch. Starting off with unleaded, around $1.81 is the best price going around at the moment. That's in Port Lincoln, Port Pirie and Kadina. Port Augusta prices went up by just over 4 cents per litre to $1.84 compared to $1.79.9 last week. $1.70 over in the capital, up around 6 cents from the week before. Moving on to the average diesel prices at the moment, there's more green arrows than red, which is always a good thing, but if you look at the actual numbers, it's still pretty dire. $2.04 will get you 1 litre over the border in Broken Hill, not much better in Whyalla, $1.99. 1 cent cheaper in Port Augusta and Port Lincoln, but you're still forking out just shy of $2. Taking a quick look at how LPG is faring across the Spencer Gulf, no change in Port Lincoln, Whyalla and Adelaide. Big jump in Port Augusta though, $1.10 this week, down from $1.25 last week. 1 cent cheaper in Adelaide, $1.08 per litre. And just for a bit of a trip down memory lane, let's take a look at what we were paying for petrol, diesel and auto gas back in March 2021. Unleaded was significantly cheaper. $1.31 would get you a litre in Port Pirie. Adelaide was seeing prices in the mid $1.20 range. Even Broken Hill had relatively cheap options, with an average cost of $1.38 per litre. Diesel wasn't too bad either. This time 2 years ago, it was going for $1.30 per litre in Port Lincoln, Port Pirie and Port Augusta. And finally, let's look at the auto gas prices from March 2021. All of our major centres could fill up for under $1. Our friends in Adelaide paying just 80 cents. How's that for a throwback? A lot can change in 2 years, but with that, it's time to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, it was a little rainy today.
In some places, Maddie, Clare recorded just under 10 millimetres by mid-afternoon, the most rain we've seen since December. Kadina also recorded a few drops in the gauge, as did Cleve Airport. Elsewhere, partly cloudy and 24 in Whyalla today. Cloudy conditions around Port Lincoln, 22. Sunny and 27 degrees up north in Cooper Pedy. Looking more broadly at today's weather map now, 25 in Port Augusta and Port Pirie, 23 in Woodner. Kadina had a few clouds around, reaching 22. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a high pressure system is moving slowly eastwards ahead of a low pressure trough expected to move over the far west of South Australia on Friday. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southwest to southeasterly winds 10 to 20 knots, seas between 1 and 1.5 metres, and south to southwesterly swell 1 to 2.5 metres. Partly cloudy between 13 and 23 in Port Lincoln tomorrow, 23 in Cleve as well. Cloud clearing around Woodner tomorrow, 27 degrees after getting down to single digits tonight. Whyalla will get to around 23 tomorrow, partly cloudy conditions there, cloud clearing and 26 in Port Augusta on Thursday. Kadina partly cloudy and a top of 25 degrees. Mostly sunny conditions forecast for Port Pirie, 25 there, 11 overnight. Between 9 and 22 in Clare. Blue skies in Broken Hill, a top of 24 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, we're in for a very sunny Friday. Starting from the northernmost centre, 32 in Cooper Pedy, 29 in Broken Hill. Port Augusta and Woodner both 31, 30 in Port Pirie, 29 in Whyalla and Kadina. Blue skies in Port Lincoln as well, 25 degrees there. Saturday's looking warmer still, sunny and 34 in Port Augusta, 32 in Broken Hill, mostly sunny and 33 in Woodner, with wind gusts of up to around 45 kilometres an hour. Mostly sunny around Port Pirie as well, 31 with some light winds around, 24 in Port Lincoln. And finally, taking a quick look at how Sunday is shaping up, a sunny top of 30 in Port Augusta, bit warmer in Woodner, Port Pirie and Broken Hill, each heading for a sunny top of 31, 36 up north in Cooper Pedy, 23 in Port Lincoln. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. I'll see you a little later with an update. It's back to you, Maddie.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Wednesday. I'm Madeline Kerr. From all of us here, thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later. But until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.